Hey guys, my name is Brandon and welcome to or welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you like what you see in here, you're more than welcome to hit the subscribe button so you stay notified every time I upload a new video. Okay, let's get straight on with today's video. Hey everyone and welcome back to Is That More Brandon. So, this is the final episode of the Traitors, Series 2 UK. What an amazing show, okay? Very, very amazing. I can't really describe it other than just amazing, unexpected, ridiculously great. Like, you know, I don't like saying the words good and great to describe a programme, but, well, what a series. Let's just put it that way. So, there is a winner or winners, okay, so I'm just going to explain to you how we got there, but like I said, this is episode 12, so I'm just going to quickly go through that with you now. So, remember, we had 5 finalists: Evie, Molly, Harry, Andrew, Jazz. That's our 5 contestants. We obviously have Claudia Winkelman as the host, and we obviously have me as the narrator. So, at the beginning of the episode, all of the finalists had their final breakfast. Andrew basically explained that obviously he started the competition as a faithful, and if he wouldn't have accepted to become a traitor, they obviously would have got rid of him then and there. He said that he's managed to obviously play the role very well, but he has doubted himself as a traitor as to whether he was actually playing the game well or whether he wasn't. Harry said being in the Traitors final, and he's a traitor, he's loved having a reason to be here, to be naughty, and it's a lot harder being in the final now because obviously he loves the people and you've obviously built a stronger connection with these people for you to be able to trust them and for them to be able to trust you to get through the game. Molly says she didn't think she'd be here. She's very proud of herself and she's made a lot of mistakes, but she said it's made her stronger and it's taught her that, you know, anything is possible and you can do it if you put your mind to it. Jazz basically explained being in the final 5, he's made it. People turn on you, you get backstabbed. But that's just kind of what life is all about. He basically just advised people to focus on what is in front of you right now, the people that are in your life right now, and that is probably the most important piece of advice I can obviously reiterate back to yourselves as well. Evie said she was the only Scottish finalist, hasn't sunk in yet. They're just about to embark on their 12th mission of the show, and that was actually for her the most important part, taking part in the missions. She said she's been genuine, she's been honest, and she's been a good faithful, which again is her advice as to how to do well in the game as a faithful. They had their breakfast of champions and the prize pot was currently £75,150. And for the mission, Claudia asked whether any of the finalists had seen her parrot. Andrew basically explained to Harry that that it's going to be a weird round table and he's expected to be interrogated after what Ross had said. And although Harry kind of, you know, said to him, don't worry, you'll be fine, everything's fine, he did say again, I still don't trust Harry. So at the moment, you kind of got Andrew, who's not really trusting Harry. Molly explained there's no time to be happy, and she said that they needed to just enjoy their day together. And Evie said that she needs to show to the rest of them that she is a faithful, with Evie saying to Molly that everyone's going to be talking about the two of them. Andrew said he doesn't want to be upset, he doesn't want Molly to be upset. And Harry and Jazz basically explained that it's one of them, i.e. one of the other 3 in the other room, either Andrew or one of the girls. And if it's not Evie, then it's Andrew. Jazz said he's not sure if he's going to bring up the situation of what he told Harry about the comment that the conversation he had with Harry, and then Harry passed that information to Paul, and then Paul kind of came back to Jazz. And obviously Jazz at that point is like, well, hang on, Harry, why are you telling Paul information that I told you privately in a conversation? So again, you just don't know who to trust at this point. And still, Jazz hasn't managed to get Harry out, even though he has all these suspicions about him. And then we saw a castle, shot with the helicopter coming over to land. And Claudia came out saying, enjoy the Scottish Islands, enjoy the ride. 5 of them jumped in, they had a little helicopter trip. And Harry basically explained that, you know, although he works with military aeroplanes and things every day, he's never actually been in a helicopter himself. And the final mission was for the Traitors ship. So there was a ship in the middle of the ocean somewhere, and all they needed to do was raise the mainsail within 60 minutes to get an extra £10,000. If they were to take detours, so instead of going straight to the boat, they were to do little extra puzzles and things in between, they'd actually have an extra 20,000 added to the prize pot as well. So potentially, they could have a prize pot just under £100,000 if they managed to complete all of the tasks and all of the little mini tasks in between as well. They got to the first detour and Harry basically said, well, are we attempting every single detour? And they basically all agreed on the first one at least, yes. So all they had to do was retrieve a flag from lobster boxes. There was about 15 different boxes they had to like kind of grab onto shore. They all opened, some of them just had, you know, seaweed, some of them had, I don't know, crabs or whatever. And then there was obviously one with a flag. They obviously won that and got to the next detour. So they got to detour 2, and again they had to decide, do they follow the path to the ship or do they take another detour, do another puzzle? They had 55 minutes at this point, so they thought, let's just do another detour. And again, for this particular challenge, there was lots of seaweed, lots of ponds, lots of rocks. So I think Molly was kind of warning everyone to be careful. And, you know, they were basically all just helping each other because there's only 5 of them left now. And they are, all 5 of them, very athletic as well. So, you know, they kind of all have their strengths. I know Molly's only got one hand, but that doesn't stop her from having strong legs, having another strong arm. So, you know, they were all working together as a team really, really well, which was nice. Again, they completed that detour and got the second flag. And then Molly kind of realised that all 5 of them had to abseil down the cliff, and she said that although she was scared, she went first. So all she had to do was climb down the side of the building and kind of like slide down as if you were doing like zip wire, but you're abseiling instead. So she went first. Jasmine said that he's obviously scared a little bit for Molly, but she managed to do it. Andrew explained he was scared of heights and the rope was very, very thin. And at one point he did actually get caught, so he was upside down. He did get caught. But then Harry kind of shouted over, come on Andrew, think of the money for the team, you know, think about the teamwork, things like that. So they both ended up getting down in the end. Harry got down in like 15 seconds. He was the last one, and he basically said that, you know, he knows he's the last person, so he needs to get down and abseil as quickly as possible so they have more time to raise the flags on the ships. And then again, they had to decide whether they do one final detour, so one little final puzzle, or go straight to the ship. So at this point they had 22 minutes left. Jazz said they should go to the ship, but everyone else kind of decided that they should go for the final detour, in which what they had to do was go through a tunnel which had a lot of rocks. It was a very tight space, but obviously, yeah, when they got through, they got to the other side, and obviously then they were able to run to the ship. They had 11 minutes to get to the boat. Molly was checking to see if everyone was all right. Evie actually lost Andrew for a few seconds, and he was just kind of a little bit slow behind. And when they all got on this little like canoe boat thing to take them to the ship, Harry said it was just making him sick, even, you know, thinking back to that experience. And then during that mission, he actually ended up being sick over the boat. And with Jazz, yeah, they basically said, oh, is Harry okay? And Jazz was like, no, he's being sick. When they got onto the ship, Evie basically just explained that it was her, Jazz and Molly, because obviously Andrew and Harry were both feeling a bit weird. And, you know, right at the end, Andrew and Harry stepped up. They became the team of 5 that they were and helped them to hoist the flag. And their prize pot was just under £100,000. Jazz said to Claudia, let's get the hot chocolates on. And Claudia basically replied saying, yep, hot chocolates first. And then, you know, sorry to dampen the mood, we are going to be going to a round table. Harry said to Molly, it's difficult going back to the round table because everyone's going to come under the spotlight. And he said he thinks that Jazz and Molly are going to obviously both be on his side. Molly said to Harry there's evidence about Andrew, but she also still has her doubts about Jazz as well. Harry said it's obviously going to hurt Molly massively, and Jazz basically said he believes that it's one of them, so I think he thinks it's Harry or Andrew at this point. Or no, I think he said it's one of them, talking about Andrew and Evie, because obviously he was in the room with Harry and Molly, so I don't think he said it was either Molly or Harry. I think he said it's either one of them, as in the other 2 that weren't in the room. Molly looked at Harry straight away and just said, look, if it's you, I'd be really upset. And then kind of she looked at Harry and Jazz and said, if it's either of you, I'll obviously be really upset. Jazz explained that Molly's convinced by Harry, everything he's done is too perfect. And then Jazz basically said to Molly, he had a little chat with her and just said, look, I trust you the most, Molly. All I need you to do is listen to the question that I ask at the round table and look at who I ask the question to kind of just, you know, work out if what you're following is the game, or if you're following your heart, or if you're following something else. Andrew again had a chat with Harry saying he's got to work out tactics. They need to either go for Evie or Jazz. With Harry saying that he trusts Andrew, but he just needs to be able to do anything it takes to get to the final. Andrew said Harry's obviously in a strong position now. He's kind of not really ever had the heat on him, and when he has been able to step up for himself. Evie explained this was the biggest round table. Molly said she doesn't want to let her emotions take over. Harry said he has to be strong. Andrew explained that one vote the wrong way will obviously seal somebody's fate. the fight is not over yet, and nothing will obviously stop him. And Jazz said, you need tunnel vision, and you obviously need to go with your gut as well. Sorry, it's quite difficult to read that part. And then we come on to the final page. So the final prize pot was £95,150. Evie started first, saying, look, everyone believed Zach's theory on Jasmine, and she basically felt like she'd obviously signed her own banishment form there. Jazz said it's obviously a not popularity contest anymore, and you know, Ross and Jasmine were both under scrutiny, which was obviously in his mind. And Evie basically said that someone knew that happened. That someone knew that Harry got the shield, that they were going to put Harry up, and that they knew Harry was going to come back. Someone planned that, and obviously someone planned this weird seed that went around with Zach, Ross, Jasmine, that kind of weird situation. Jazz basically said to Evie, okay, well, you know, if it wasn't her, then who does she think it is? And Evie basically said that there's more evidence going towards Andrew potentially being the traitor, with Jazz saying, well, you know, with Harry, he has been correctly guessing a lot of the traitors, and he basically did reveal his chat here, and obviously asked this question to Harry, which he obviously was hoping Molly was listening to, and he basically said, look, I had a chat with Harry about Paul, and he basically said to Harry, well, Harry, did you ever mention that conversation to Paul? And yeah, Harry was like, no, of course not, don't be silly, like, we had a private chat, and you know, that stayed private. And then Jazz basically explained that Paul had asked Jazz whether he was going to vote for him or not, or whether he trusted him or not, and obviously Harry had then passed that information on. Jazz said that if he wasn't murdered, or Paul said to Jazz, if he wasn't murdered, they're obviously going to come for Paul. So it kind of take his eyes off Paul, so that Jazz was to look at Harry. So again, at that point, Paul was obviously coming after Harry, so he was like, okay, so they're gonna vote for me, like, I'm the innocent guy, so you know, if I'm gone, you know, vote, you definitely have to go for Harry. And then Harry basically was trying not to shake during the situation, because obviously it could take him under, and he did manage to fight back very well. He basically said, well, I'm a little bit confused by that accusation, like, there wasn't any chats like that between me and Paul, so obviously acting stupid, but to the rest of them, they obviously believed it. Because in the end, Andrew only got 1 vote to be banished, Evie got 4. So unfortunately, because Evie was linked with Jasmine, who was linked with Ross, who was linked with Zach, who was linked with whatever, they just kind of, in a 10-pin bowling kind of way, ended up just all taking themselves out. So kind of just, yeah, it just kind of was a replay of the previous one. So Evie revealed she was a faithful, obviously she was banished. Molly and Jazz genuinely looked shocked as the final 2 faithfuls, but then you've got Andrew and Harry in the mix as well, potentially going to screw that up. Claudia then basically explained what they were going to do was banish again, and they were going to continue until everyone was happy, to obviously end the game, and then see if there's any traitors left in the game. Harry basically said to the rest of them that it's possible that they're all faithful, and Jazz basically explained that he needed to get what he wanted to say off of his chest. Andrew said that Harry's now going to be panicking, but potentially Harry's going to put him under the bus, and nobody has ever devalued him or walked over him, and it's not going to happen now. Molly said that she was miserable, and Harry explained that he wanted to end that round table on a high. Molly said to Harry that if it's him, she's never going to speak to him again, and Harry basically said that he knows Jazz is faithful, and Andrew has the same defence every time coming to the round table. Again, Andrew said to Jazz that he knows he's a faithful as well, so I think both of them agree that Jazz is faithful, but if Jazz is having that said from 2 people, surely you would put 2 and 2 together that, hang on, they're both traitors because they're both trying to make me feel good because they don't want me to vote them out. And then Andrew basically said to Jazz, I think you're onto something here with the Harry situation. He seems to have made every move that the traitors have made. And Jazz basically said he's never seen Andrew put someone on the line like that. And he's obviously now suspicious of both Harry and Andrew. So I think at this point it's like, I think Andrew did a little bit too much, kind of putting Harry under the bus, because then it puts Andrew in the firing line of, well, hang on, you've never been this angry about someone before, or, you know, wanting to get someone out so quickly. Is it because you want to save your own back and win all the money for yourself? Or are you genuinely a faithful and you're just trying to help the rest of us out? Molly said that earlier they were obviously buzzing, now they're obviously a little bit deflated. And obviously we found out Andrew and Harry, the 2 traitors, Molly and Jazz, the 2 faithful, were obviously in the final. And then Claudia did like a little summary with all of them as well. So Claudia basically said to Molly, she was obviously the final woman in the game, and she said that she just wants to get the traitors out. Andrew said he's still pinching himself to be here in the game and he's not going to go out without a fight. Claudia explained to Harry he's the youngest traitor. He seems to be always 4 steps ahead of everyone. He's taken out 3 or 4 of the traitors already and he's within touching distance of the money. And Claudia said to Jazz that he's a great player, and he said that he wanted to stand alone at the end because he didn't really trust anyone and he needs to stick with his gut, which is what he's obviously done since he entered the process. So, £95,150 to end the game and obviously split the money. Claudia explained they all had a chest in front of them to either end the game or banish the game in a little jewel box. It was, one of them was end, one of them was banish again. So, Jazz decided he wanted to banish again because he had his concerns about Harry. Molly wanted to banish again because she just wanted to feel 100% secure at the end. Andrew wanted to banish again because he basically put Harry under the bus here, saying Harry's been a great traitor, he knows all of the steps, you know, so I can't be here with him at the end. And Harry said he wanted to banish because he needed to be 100%, and he wasn't comfortable with everyone who was at the table at the moment. So even though here Andrew kind of went straight for Harry, which was his obviously only defence at this point, Harry only got 1 vote, which was from Andrew, and the other 3 voted for Andrew, which meant he was banished. He was a traitor, so he did reveal that, but I guess Harry's kind of thinking at this point, well, I've still got, you know, 2 faithful next to me who potentially could vote me out. Jazz looked straight at Harry, and yeah, Andrew basically explained that it was a weight off his shoulders, that he was able to kind of pass that information on, not to necessarily have Harry taken out, but to kind of allow them to think differently about the game, and that, you know, not everyone's as perfect and genuine as they seem. So they voted again. Molly wanted to end the game. She said that she thought there was only 1 traitor left, and they think they found him. Harry also said that he wanted to end the game. He was 100% with both Jazz and Molly, but Jazz wanted to banish again, because he said the only person he's 100% confident with is Molly. And there's obviously, you know, a lot of situations where traitors were taking traitors out. So potentially, because Andrew is on his way out, has he been trying to take Harry out with him as well? Harry basically said, Andrew said that he should go for Jazz if he was going to vote for anyone. So again, this is kind of just a bit of hearsay. Did Andrew say that or not? And Jazz kind of was like, well, hang on, but why would he mention your name? Why is he going to mention your name now when we're so close to the end, if genuinely we're all just the faithfuls? During the votes, Molly started writing the letter H as if to vote for Harry. Said she couldn't do it, and she kind of whispered to Harry, or mouthed to Harry, it's not you? And he said, no, it's not. Claudia asked if they were all happy with their votes, which she said she wasn't. And then she asked if she could change her vote. So I think at this point we kind of all knew she was changing her vote from Harry to Jazz. She kind of was looking back to back between both of them. Jazz was looking at Harry, they were all just looking at each other. And then Jazz kind of made eye contact with Molly to kind of shake his head like, no, you're making the wrong decision if you vote me out. So Harry voted for Jazz to be out of the game. Jazz voted for Harry, saying that he had suspicions from Andrew, and obviously Molly then also voted for Jazz, saying that she's trusted Harry since the beginning. She couldn't do the vote that she wanted to do initially, and she's also had suspicions about Jazz in the past as well. Jazz obviously revealed he was a faithful, which Harry knew. Molly didn't, but she's just found out. And Jazz said that, you know, being the last one banished was obviously quite a difficult thing because you're so close to the final. You're very, very close to winning that money, but you're just not. And he doesn't regret anything he's done in the game so far. So Harry and Molly, the 2 final players on the Traitors. Molly was pointing at Harry, kind of like pointing, making sure that, you know, he wasn't telling a lie. And because they were obviously the 2 players left, they obviously couldn't vote for each other because that would just be 1-1, which would be a bit silly. So the game was automatically ended. And at this point, if there was any traitors left, they would win the money. So Molly emotionally revealed that she was a faithful. Harry emotionally revealed he was a traitor. The look on Molly's face was awful, as if like, you literally betrayed me. And she said that she did write Harry's name and she changed it afterwards. She literally was just in shock, left the building, and she said that he played a great game, fair play to him. And yeah, he was basically, Harry was standing there by himself with Claudia, and he said that Molly was the reason that he was here. He needs to obviously build her trust back, with Claudia basically saying to Harry, Harry, you're the winner. He said that his family know he's a good guy, his family are his obviously number 1, he can be himself again. Claudia called him an OG, and Harry basically explained he underestimated himself coming into this game. And he's had enough of being naughty, and he shouted he's the best traitor in the world, kind of also saying to the camera, well, you know, I hope Molly didn't hear that. So yeah, that was basically it really. That was the Traitors Series 2 UK episode 12, 2024. So Harry won, Molly and Jazz were a very, very close second. And then obviously you had Andrew, Evie, Jasmine in the rest of the top 6. So yeah, it was an amazing series. If you would have asked me a few weeks ago if I would have thought Harry would have won, I probably would have told you no. He's a good guy, he looks like he's playing a good game, but he was going to get caught out at some point. Similarly to what happened with Paul, I thought they were going to try and take him out later on, but looks like they didn't. And, you know, I think it's because he played a cool, calm and collected game. He was letting traitors go against other traitors, and it kind of just left him out because everyone knew he was good at the challenges. And, you know, in the end, he did a really, really good game. And, you know, yeah, although he did kind of build trust for someone who ended up trusting him at the end and then he kind of betrayed them, I guess that's kind of their own fault for being so gullible. But yeah, it's that thing of, you know, he's won the money, he's going to do well for his family and friends, which I guess is the whole reason of being in this sort of show. You don't go onto a show like this to not win, so you will do anything you can to win. I would if I was on this sort of show. So yeah, I think Molly and the rest of them are going to be a little bit angry and disappointed and, you know, whatever at Harry, but he did a very good job for 22 years old as well, to have such an amazing, you know, quick-witted brain and easily just go against the traitors that quickly. Like, he got rid of four of his own traitors, 2 of which, Miles and Paul, were, I think, you know, I mean, Miles wasn't too great, but Paul was pretty good. Ross was very detective-like, and obviously he was kind of there trying to get his mum, you know, felt like he'd done something good for his mum. So yeah, Harry did and played a very good game, and everyone kind of went out of the game at the right time according to his little plan. So yeah, very, very interesting game. But yeah, if you did enjoy my reviews, don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. Let me know, out of the 22 players, who are your favourite players. I think for me, I did like all of them. I mean, some of them, I mean, I'm not going to say I've forgotten about them, but they weren't in the show long enough for me to like or dislike. I do think Harry was a good player. I think Ross and Diane were a very good duo. Obviously when Diane left, Ross was obviously, yeah, he did alright on his own, but yeah, I think because he then lost his kind of, you know, safe space, I guess, he kind of wasn't going to get all the way to the end. Zach was very good and Jasmine was very good, both very vocal, but obviously for the traitors, that's not something they want to keep in the game, so that's why both of them were always in trouble and actually left the game. A lot of the older ones at the beginning that were starting to go out, like, we didn't really get to know much of them. So like people like Tracy, people like Sonia, people like Aubrey. Again, even Kyra, she was one of the young ones. She was the second person to get murdered. So again, we didn't know anything about her. It was just the fact that she was confident and bold. And, you know, she grabbed that first shield in that first challenge rather than helping other people. So yeah, it was like people like that kind of just, they're there, but they just disappear. So anyway, overall, it was an amazing series. Like I said, completely different to last year, but really, really good format. So I'm going to end this video here. Like I said, let me know who your favourites were, and let's see if Traitors Series 3 comes out soon, because I will be doing reviews again. But until then, thank you for watching, and have a lovely evening and day, afternoon, wherever you are. And until then, thank you for watching. I'm banishing myself, okay? I'm going to banish myself from the castle, and goodbye. Thank you.